From calling it charming, funny, and one of the greatest superhero films ever made, to criticizing its CGI as well as its insignificance in the new DC universe, these are the DC fans' honest reactions to The Flash. Alright, The Flash is a $220 million behemoth with more cameos than I have fingers and toes. But did it stack up to the fans' expectations? On one hand, you've got one of the most beloved comic book characters in his own solo movie. And on the other, the actor playing him has been the subject of very serious controversies since 2020. But let's put Ezra Miller's personal life aside for the first half of this video, cause there's a lot more to the movie than Miller's bizarre behavior. Let's go back to its world premiere at CinemaCon. The atmosphere was electric. Everyone and their uncle was waiting in line to get a glimpse of it. And when it was over, people walked out saying that The Flash was one of the best superhero films ever made. Eric Davis, who's a prominent media personality and loves talking about movies, tweeted that it's everything you want in a superhero movie, and then some. He praised the storytelling, action sequences, and the stellar cast, and he even said that he had tears in his eyes when the end credits rolled. Wow! If early reviews were that great, and the critics called it the ultimate movie-going experience, then why wait for anyone else's approval, right? Jermaine Lucier, a senior reporter at Gizmodo, said that The Flash feels like a cross between Back to the Future and Spider-Man: No Way Home, and that it's filled with all the heart, humor, and surprises of both of them. If that's the way someone's describing it, what more could you ask for as a comic book fan, right? Well, let's fast forward to June 16th, 2023, the day of The Flash's worldwide release. Everyone was curious about how it turned out. Did Warner Brothers and DC Studios spend $220 million on something no one will ever talk about again? Or worse, did they shell out the big bucks only for everyone to make fun of it forever? Well, I'm pretty sure you've already seen a few fan reactions on social media, so I'll save you the suspense. The Flash is a mixed bag, and it's about as polarizing as Batman vs. Superman was back in 2016. Call it misunderstood, call it a love or hate thing, call it whatever you want, but the overall vibe I'm getting from all the fans is that they hate it more than they love it. The question is, what do they think works about it and what doesn't? Well, it turns out that there are a lot of things to like about it. For example, Reddit user ButtMacklin FBI says that the movie's 80% better than anything Marvel has released after Avengers Endgame. The plot is well-paced and moves through the movie in a fun and understandable way, and Ezra's pretty darn entertaining in it, despite all the headlines. Their performance is front and center throughout the movie, and it makes for a really good watch. And the version of Barry that we get in this movie is way more mature than the one in Justice League. His character develops organically as the story moves forward, and it made for a more enjoyable watch than Ant-Man 3 or Black Panther 2. A lot of people agreed with ButtMacklin's take on the movie, and another fan said that it's genuinely one of the most charming and hilarious comic book movies in recent years. They loved the on-screen chemistry between the cast members, and particularly loved Michael Keaton's version of Batman showing up suddenly. Actually, everyone lost their minds the moment Keaton appeared in the movie. I mean, fans have known about his cameo for ages, and they still jumped out of their seats when he showed up. I guess that's what you call eternal clout, am I right? The last time he played Bruce Wayne was way back in 1992, and he returned in 2023 to a standing ovation. Fans say that he's one of the best parts of The Flash, and that Keaton slipped into the role as if he never left. His performance in the movie's incredible, and when he whispers the iconic "I'm Batman" line, you get goosebumps. The fans say that the legacy character cameos, like Superman and Supergirl, are better than the ones in No Way Home. They show you just how massive the DC universe is, and how incredible a movie can be when you bring them together. In fact, one person who really loved The Flash is none other than Hollywood's maverick Tom Cruise. He was treated to an early screening of the movie along with Stephen King, and he loved it. Director Andy Muschietti revealed that Tom called him after watching the movie and raved about it for, like, 15 minutes. He loved the visuals, cinematography, and the cast's performances, and said that The Flash is one of those movies that you have to watch in the cinema, cause otherwise there's no point. You'd think an endorsement from one of the most powerful celebrities in the world would help the movie at the box office, right? But that's not what happened. Instead, The Flash had a really disappointing opening weekend, earning about $55 million over a 3-day period. Warner Brothers expected between 70 and 75 million, but it ended up making less money than Black Adam did on its opening weekend in 2022, which made $67 million. And that's very concerning, because despite a lot of positive fan reactions, The Flash will have trouble getting back all the money Warner Bros. Spent making it. But not all the fans loved it though. Yes, it's a fun watch over the weekend with a bunch of your friends, but it's got some glaring flaws. And the worst of those flaws is the god-awful video game-like CGI. Geez, where do I start with this one? Okay, so The the flubber-looking baby in the oven. What the heck was up with that? There's a scene where Ezra's Flash saves a bunch of babies from a building that's about to crumble, and it looks so bad. Everyone posted that scene on Twitter and roasted the heck out of it. Someone even reversed the footage and made it look like the Flash was putting the babies in the ovens, poking fun at the controversies surrounding Ezra, and that it's something he might get caught doing in real life. But the jokes didn't stop there. The Speed Force sequences got a lot of flack too, and a lot of people pointed out how the movie ruined what Zack Snyder built in the Justice League. It's not that they're written poorly or that they suck, it's just that the CGI is really bad. But it got worse when Muschietti defended the film's visual effects. He said that because the Flash is experiencing a multiversal event and that we're in his perspective throughout the movie, everything around him is distorted, including the lighting and textures. We're seeing a water world through his point of view, and so if the visuals look bad, then that's how it was meant to be. The fans weren't happy with that answer and said that it's a cop-out way to say that our CGI sucks. A lot of them pointed out that several VFX artists must have worked long hours and tight deadlines to make something usable, and Muschietti undid all their hard work by calling it weird. Not cool, Andy. But the film's problems don't end there. Now's the time to talk about Ezra and their most recent controversies. One Twitter user said that The Flash might be failing at the box office for multiple reasons, and that's fine. Things happen when you have a big-budget superhero movie with a story about a crumbling multiverse. The reason why they didn't watch the movie was because of Ezra. They've been the subject of bad press since 2020, and Warner Bros. Had to deal with the fallout. They put out an official statement saying that they're seeking help for their complex mental health issues, but that didn't stop the bad press, because some of the things they were accused of doing were horrible. So a lot of fans decided that they won't watch The Flash when it releases. On the other hand, there were a lot of people who stopped caring about the DCEU when James Gunn announced that the whole universe would be rebooted and that they're starting the DC slate of films from scratch. This didn't just hurt The Flash in terms of box office numbers, it hurt the fans because they thought this movie would end up giving legacy characters their own spin-offs, or at least let them come back to the DC universe like they were never gone. The fans say that the movie desperately wants you to feel all nostalgic and teary-eyed because of all the cameos. But nostalgia isn't enough, and DC needs to get back to the drawing board in order to make up for this.
It's freaking comfy. Yours is pretty cool.
Smooth.
Seems safe and
breathable. Found Barry Allen. No! What does that mean? How can this...
So from criticizing its CGI as well as its insignificance in the new DC universe, to calling it charming, funny, and one of the greatest superhero films ever made, those were the DC fans' honest reactions to The Flash.
Your kid was one of them, Dad. One of the best of the best.